Welcome everyone to our modern day mystery school, book study number 29, Unfolding Consciousness, Exploring the Living Universe and the Intelligent Powers in Nature and Humans. We are continuing our Death is Transition series, and we finally get to hear the answer. Is there a hell? Esoteric Science explains. This week, it is the state of Avītchi and the eighth sphere. Many of the near-death experiences in today's world reiterate that there is no actual hell that they experience, though there is an understanding and even an experiencing of the suffering we have caused others throughout the previous lifetime. However, the ancient teachings, now put your seatbelt on, the ancient teachings do explain that there is something beyond that. Okay, this is a big broadcast. Pay attention. If you have any questions or comments, please leave them here. Okay, Eddie's going to be with us here in July. We're going to have a Meet the Author session. We can ask him anything and everything. Now that's going to be happening on Sunday, July 16th. So that's when we're going to be doing the interview. I'll see if I can get that out on the same day. Remember that these volumes, what's in these texts, it's not about Eddie. It didn't originate with him. He has compiled this collection. He explains it so that all can have access and understand. This is not about selling this book. You can buy it if you wish, but it is getting the archaic wisdom out in the world of today, in the language of today, where it is so desperately needed, and not in the form of a religion or a church or a society or, God forbid, an organization that you pay dues to. You can simply study and apply in your leisure, in your life, for free with these lessons. So please, if you're gaining anything from these, please, I ask humbly that you like, share, comment, and subscribe, because that massages the algorithm. You need to have a massaged algorithm to get it out there. Again, this is not about me. It's not about Eddie. It's about the teachings. They are the star here. And thank you to Ejexian, am I saying that right? I hope I'm saying that right. Ejexian, Jonathan Douglas, and to our very own Chris Sheridan. Jonathan, just a reminder, there will be Unfolding Consciousness ebooks. They'll be out very soon. Study guides, condensed versions, and audiobooks. So I just want to let you know that is on the way. This has only just begun. These book studies here on Sunday will always be free. Always be free. We continue through in Volume 2 of Unfolding Consciousness. Again, remember, this is a 4-volume set. Each volume has a different focus. So this one is Volume 2, okay? And this means we're peering down the microscope, man's internal landscape. So you have looking up to the cosmos, looking within man, them together, and then, of course, the reference manual at the end. So anyway, we're going to continue in Chapter 5 in Volume 2, Death is Transition, Time at the Door of Eternity. And today, you and I will bravely go to hell. We're on page 84. This is the state of Avītchi and the eighth sphere. Our yellow post-it study notes that are in the margins of all the pages this week are the circumstances that lead up to Avītchi, the subhuman states of consciousness. And Avītchi is an extremely evil state of consciousness, a state of consciousness. And recycling processes are a part of nature's economy. Don't forget, you get 20% off the 4-volume set with your exclusive book study code. It's only for you. UC Book Study. You'll see it up here. So that's only from the Shepard Waldman website too. So is there a hell? Is there? What do you think? Occult Science explains in today's episode the state of Avītchi and the eighth sphere. Avītchi is a Sanskrit word which means waveless or without happiness or without repose, meaning without any calm or tranquility, which all imply a complete and total stagnation of life, therefore no happiness and continued agony. According to HPB, the literal meaning of Avītchi is uninterrupted hell. So this state may be likened to the Inferno of Dante's Divine Comedy, at the entrance to which are inscribed the words, "Abandon hope, all ye who enter here." Now, side note here, Eddie reads that some of those translations in Italian say, "Have faith, all ye who enter here," but the correct version is, "Abandon hope, all ye who enter here." It is symbolized, debatably, by the rough-hewn underground crypt of the Great Pyramid of Giza, that at one end of the crypt is a passage of polished stone leading to an absolute dead end. In this sense, it may be regarded as the counterpart or the shadow of Devachan, heaven. It afflicts all those who have slipped down into the mire of unredeemable sin, and bestiality. When that happens, the stream of personalities eventually comes to an end because the immortal ego, the higher self, the parent, will have lost all influence over its lower selves, the personal ego, the personality, the child of the higher self, and the connection between the two, becoming ever more slight, thinned, and flimsy, will have become severed forever. Remember the antakarana, Jacob's ladder, the bridge between the higher and the lower self. We're going to get more into that in a little bit. The fate of the personal ego, the lower self, cut off from its parent ego, the higher self, then becomes dismal beyond compare. It is drawn out of the terrestrial atmosphere and exists for ages without peace, without calm or relaxation. Avītchi, where abandoning hope, it relives all of the drama and disastrous steps taken in the lifetimes before finally withering and dying out altogether. The higher ego, the higher self, is affected by this breakdown too. Having failed to gain the experience of earthly life that its personalities were supposed to supply, it too becomes a failure in its own realm and falls into a dreamless sleep, awaiting the next planetary cycle, the Manvantara, to re-evolve its humanity, this time in full consciousness, meaning it starts over again through all of the kingdoms, through the mineral, the vegetable, the animal, and into human again. Where do such dire traits of consciousness exist? Does this imply that there are states even lower than in the physical, lower in the sense of being yet even more saturated in selfishness and materiality? The occult doctrines do not shy away from pointing out that this is indeed so, but they carry a heavy warning. Listen, we must have no dealings with such states, don't even dabble, which belong to a distant past. Now, that being the case, there can be and there have been breakouts from such subterranean vaults of consciousness, whereby individuals or groups have inflicted unspeakable brutality upon humanity in ways that conventional mental sciences like psychiatry and psychology, they're at a complete loss to explain and understand. And these breakouts are not uncommon. Again, let's say that again. That's a big thing. There have been breakouts from these subterranean vaults of consciousness. This is a state of being whereby individuals or groups have inflicted unspeakable brutality upon humanity in the ways that conventional mental sciences like psychiatry and psychologies, they have no idea. Complete loss to explain. We need not go over this. We don't have to labor this point, but there have been many examples of such derelicts during this long period of human history. The crimes perpetrated by the Nazis, intensified in their horror by the mental element of strong premeditation, meticulous planning, and ruthless organization, are just one of many recent examples. It is not illogical to suggest that this phenomena of breakouts of lone individuals or groups from the so-called nether regions is symbolized in our popular fantasy novel and related films, Harry Potter and the Prisoner of Azkaban, where the prisoner Sirius Black has escaped from the Azkaban prison and wants to murder Harry, where the light and the magic is. But Avītchi is not necessarily solely a post-mortem state or only between two births. It can also exist on Earth. Mialba. Eddie personally knows two individuals who recently went on a conducted tour of the sites of the former Auschwitz and Birkenau extermination camps. And their lasting impression was the eerie stillness of the atmosphere, the eerie stillness with no birds flying overhead. This is not the stillness of tranquility, but indeed the waveless state, the utter stagnation of life. However, Avītchi is not a place of eternal damnation or punishment, as in the Christian orthodox example. Another example there of how exoteric religion distorts the esoteric meaning. But Avītchi is a generalized term for places, meaning states of consciousness, of extreme evil realization, where the will for evil and the unsatisfied evil longings for utter brutality, bestiality, and selfishness find their opportunity for expansion, and the final extinction of the evil entity itself, ground over in nature's laboratory, which is known as the eighth sphere, or planet of death. So let's say that again. Avītchi is not a place of eternal damnation or punishment, as the Christian religion says, or other religions say. But listen, it is a generalized term meaning state or states of consciousness, of extreme evil realization, where the will for evil and the unsatisfied evil longings for utter brutality, horror, and selfishness, and their opportunity for expansion, and the final extinction of the evil entity itself, ground over in nature's laboratory, which is known as the eighth sphere, or the planet of death. Occult science is even more guarded about giving any details about what is, in effect, a state of psycho-mental degeneration consciousness, more advanced than Avīchi, being the habitat of what is called in esoteric philosophy, lost souls, where there is a tiny glimmer of re-ensoulment in Avīchi, which is by way of the umbilical connection with the monad, the Atma Buddhi. So it's not completely cut off. Such a possibility vanishes in the eighth sphere. We are informed that whereas Avīchi is exclusively a state or a condition, the planet of death, besides being a state or condition, is an actual globe. It may be tempting to think of a black hole when you think of this, but there is no evidence to support that that is the case. The point to grasp is that nature has all things in her, including her facilities for waste recycling at all levels. So just as there are grades of heaven where good men elevate according to their spiritual status, also Avīchi has many grades and degrees where those who must find an outlet for their burning evil passions sink to the appropriate level. In Botticelli's depiction of Inferno, hell, the punishment fits the crime, as in Purgatorio, but much more severely because of the greater severity of the crime. So, for example, the punishment might entail being imprisoned in an icy lake forever, or wandering lost for eternity in a dark wood, confronted by savage beasts. Now, these beasts being the effects received in the afterlife of the savage thoughts and deeds put out as causes during the life before. So listen, the beasts in the afterlife here are the effects of our savage thoughts and deeds that we put out as causes during life. Given that esoteric truths were completely distorted by the defamatory influence of the material hell superstition, which is really big during the Middle Ages, it bears repeating that the sufferings depicted in Inferno and Purgatorio and the delights in Paradise all refer, listen, to states of consciousness. Again, the sufferings depicted in the Inferno and Purgatorio and the delights of Paradise refer to states of consciousness, not punishment, physical punishment. So, however, it is quite possible, as Blavatsky points out, that the modern West has yet to understand that the souls of some evil men might have already passed. They might already have gone through, not to the fabled Inferno, taken literally, while such men themselves most definitely lived, and modern-day examples are not difficult to name. They may have already gone through and been recycled. A possible reason as to how and why such an unfortunate state of affairs like the hellish state of Avīchi and the eighth sphere occurs at all will be outlined next week as we explore the role of the antakarana, the connection between the personal and the divine, mankind's spiritual life support. Jacob's ladder. Other than this, there is no value in delving into this uncomfortable, unsavory topic any further. The sole reason for mentioning it here in Unfolding Consciousness, as Eddie said earlier, is forewarned is forearmed. The most sensible way to avoid danger is to become aware of it through understanding and by reading the signs without getting caught up in it or involved in any way. And also a side note here, the staggering popularity of Harry Potter and the series and the films, the books, all of it, it's full of tales of magic, makes it clear that however much mainstream science may attempt to brainwash society with the limits of materialism, the public in general are drawn to novels that embody occult truths. So well done, J.K. Rowling, for her brilliant transmission of such truths in strongly characterized story form, and therefore bypassing cold scientific skepticism. See, that's why people definitely wanted the books burned, because they were afraid. And that's what's 2023 now. This is very medieval, to burn and criticize the truth. The same thing happens to people like Rupert Sheldrake, and Eddie is also one who gets a lot of crap for bringing the truth out into the world. But you're not going to get burnt at the stake, I don't think, at this time. But people are hungry for more. This is a reference manual. This is not the only place you can find the teachings. Eddie did not come up with them. They're ancient. They belong to everyone. This is a collection where he puts the references in there so you can go find out more information on whatever it is you want to study. To me, I say this is like a secret teachings of all ages for the new millennium. If you have any questions for Eddie, please leave them here. He will be here with us in a Meet the Author broadcast in mid-July, and I'm very much looking forward to having him here. I'm going to go for walks along the sea with him. Really looking forward to that. And remember, you get a discount if you'd like to buy the 4-volume hardback set. That is the only format that it is available in today in June. It is June of 2023. But type in the UC discount code. It is UC Book Study through the Shepherd Wallman website. You can save 20% on the hardback copies. Ebooks are coming out. We also have condensed versions, study guides, and an audiobook is on the way, or audiobooks are on the way. So when you subscribe, like, and share, remember these ancient teachings get further out into the world. The more people that apply them, study them, if they resonate with them, they can actually make them a part of their lives. And that helps to raise the consciousness of our planet. Thank you so much. I love you.